Professional football in America is a special game, a unique game. Played nowhere else on earth, it is a rare game. The men who play it make it so.
Hey, baby, let's go out there like a bunch of crazy dogs and have some fun.
Coming now, buddy. We on our horse all day long. Let's just kick that butt all day long. Pick it up. Don't stop. Pick it up. Let's go.
Get after the ball. Catch on somebody.
Welcome to This Week in Fantasy Football. I'm Mike Cardano alongside my sidekick, Scott Engel. Scotty, how are you this week?
Doing great. It's week 15.
Psyched for playoff, fantasy playoff football.
Yes. Always.
You got all your rosters squared away, or you have injury problems? You're still searching on the waiver wires? Or
By this point, no, I'm not searching waiver wires.
You know what? Maybe this is a little like kissing your sister, but I'm going to actually ask you for some advice.
Don't
here.
kiss me.
Because I'm at a crossroads. I'm in a quandary here. I lost Gronk, and I thought I had myself sitting pretty because earlier this year I picked up Jordan Reed, and now he's out for the rest of the year. So now my only choice is pretty 14-team league. It's pretty tough. I've got either Heath Miller or Greg Olsen. Which one of those do you think I should play?
I like Olsen a lot. You know, the Jets give up a lot of points to tight ends every week.
Better than Miller.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to go with Miller.
I think the Jets are about 6th or 7th most points allowed to opposing tight ends.
Okay. All right, so I'll go with Miller.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I said Olsen.
I know.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get right to the
you deserve to lose.
Celebrity portion of the program. We've got 4 celebrities this week.
Okay.
I think most of them you know. One of them I didn't know. I do now, and I'm very happy that I do. But I'll get into that. All right, first celebrity question. You ready?
Yep.
Brian McRae, former baseball player Brian McRae.
Former Met and Royal.
Yeah,
and Major League broadcaster Brian McRae.
You know how you're getting old? When the children of the people you used to watch are now going to old timers
Hal
games.
McRae.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, Hal was a pretty good ball player.
Yes.
All right. Well, Brian wants to know.
Cubs too.
Let's see. Brian wants to know what to do about Reggie Bush. The back he has to replace him with is Chris Ivory, and that doesn't look like a good matchup for him. He's in a 14-team league, and other than that, he'd have to hit the waiver wire filled with a bunch of NFL backups. So what does he do? Bush is playing on Monday night.
Well, I think you got to watch the practice reports. If he practices Saturday, I think he'll be good to go. Remember, it's a Monday night game, so it's not a Friday practice designation. It's a Saturday practice designation. If not, hit the free agent list, in a 14-team league. Maybe Jordan Todman's out there. I doubt it. Maybe Chris Ogbonnaya against the Chicago Bears is another guy you go with, or maybe you go with a touchdown type like a Mike Tolbert.
Yeah, that's tough. You definitely have to make this decision though before. So if he hears really nothing, you got to replace him because you can't risk going with him
by Saturday.
zero,
If
right?
he's not practicing, it's unlikely he's going to play, or he'll be very limited.
But if they said he practiced, but he was hopping around, they don't know. What
Hopping around?
Like
what
a
are
bunny,
you talking about?
He could be walking around the field in the
That
boot,
makes no sense, all right? He's either limited to practice or he practices fully. If he's at least limited, I think you can have some confidence he's going to play.
So if he shows up at practice and he's wearing his pads, you're putting him in?
Yeah.
Okay.
Not hopping around.
All right, Brian. Even if he's hopping around in the pads, Brian, you should put him in.
Ridiculous.
Okay. All right, our next celebrity question is from Mitch Malloy. Do you know who Mitch Malloy is? The recording artist Mitch Malloy. He's a popular recording artist. But what I didn't know as well, first, do you know who he is?
I knew of him, but you educated me more on him recently.
Yeah. I just found out, and I'm a huge Van Halen fan, that Mitch Malloy was a singer for Van Halen. Now, who knew?
He almost was a singer for Van Halen.
Well, he was in the band. He was in the band. They gave him the hug and everything. They recorded some music and everything. After Sammy left, they brought in Mitch Malloy to be the singer. And what happened is, before they put out an album, he was sitting home watching MTV, and Van Halen came out with...
on the MTV Video, let me explain it because he's not too good at it. On the MTV Video Music Awards, Van Halen came out with David Lee Roth for the first time in years, and Mitch Malloy was sitting there watching it going, what's going on?
So that didn't work out too much for Mitch, so Mitch resigned before he ever started.
Yes. Was he before or after the guy from Extreme?
I guess he was before, and then they found, and they
found
the
guy from Extreme.
And that didn't work out so good.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, ballads,
Yeah.
All right. Well, Mitch has got a question here for you.
Okay.
All right. It says, assuming Toby Gerhart is playing, would you have reservations about using him as an RB1 in his playoff round? He had Adrian Peterson, and Gerhart was his handcuff. And he says, well, this is what I have him for, right? That's why I got him. Shouldn't I be putting him in?
Here's the issue, Mitch, is that we can't assume that he's going to be in here. Everything we're hearing right now is that the hamstring strain is really not good. And
well, his question is, assuming he's playing.
What I'm saying is you can't assume he's playing.
He did.
But you can't.
He did.
But you can't.
Well, he did.
You can't.
All right, undo that, Mitch. All right, and
You're going to have to be very cautious with Toby Gerhart. Mitch, I would search for another option this week.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. If he were declared healthy at later today or tomorrow, in that instance,
I would use him. But
as an RB1,
as an RB2.
He has RB1.
Yeah. If you got to use him, you got to use him. Doesn't matter if it's RB1 or RB2, but it's not looking good for everything we're hearing.
Okay. Okay, so then who's the back? Who would the back be there if that's
Matt Asasha, an unknown power back, a plugger, got injured a lot in college in Utah. That's totally a desperation play.
They'll probably rip it off for about 200 yards and 3
probably,
TDs.
Yeah, it'll be the next Sam Congado, yeah.
All right, okay. All right, Mitch, hope that helps you out. I don't think we did, but...
No, I think we helped him out.
Think so?
I think it's not looking good, and he has to get another option ready.
Okay. Well, Mitch, I'm happy to find out you're in Van Halen. I learned something new. So, okay. Next celebrity question is former Buffalo Bill Joe Cribbs. Do you remember Joe Cribbs?
Oh, I remember Joe Cribbs.
Number 20.
He used to kill your Jets all the
yes,
time.
He did.
In the
That's
80s.
how I remember
Yeah.
Joe. Little guy, run all over the place.
I used to love his running style.
Good PPR back.
Kind of like a land crab, you
Good
know?
PPR back, I would imagine.
Very versatile back. Very underrated in Buffalo Bills history.
Yeah. Everybody except for OJ, really. Okay. Joe wants to know, he says, I agree with Mike. Again, once a week, people agree with me.
Yeah.
At least once a week.
Yeah.
That Mark Trestman made a wrong decision going with Jay Cutler. Now, if you're not familiar with my thoughts on that, let's take a look here and take a look. See. Hey, before I get started, I just wanted to point something out to our viewers. And Mark Trestman, I know you're always watching, so listen up. There's a huge debate about who the Chicago Bears quarterback should be this week if Jay Cutler is healthy. Now look, Josh McCown has thrown for over 300 yards in 3 consecutive weeks. In fact, it's much better than that because he's averaged almost 352 yards with 8 touchdowns and just 1 interception the past 3 games. Now you know when the last time a Bears quarterback threw for over 300 yards in 3 consecutive weeks was? Never! It's never happened. You can go all the way back to Sid Luckman. It's never been done. So I don't even see how there's a choice here. All right, well, those are my thoughts I put out earlier this week. So he wants to know, what are your thoughts on this, both from a game and a fantasy point of view? Now, we're going to have Steve Silverman on later on in the program to talk about his thoughts on this. But what are your thoughts on this? Was it a good move putting Cutler back in?
I mean, McCown is red hot right now and really boosting the fantasy production of everybody to maximum levels on that offense. I'm not a fan of it. I know in the NFL, though, as I'm sure Joe knows, is that a veteran doesn't lose his job just because he got hurt. Cutler is more talented, but I think McCown's playing better. Why mess with success in my eyes?
Yeah, I'm right along with you.
Yeah.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah.
And from a fantasy standpoint, though, all the players that were out there, they're prime talent. They're all
top shelf, except for Martellus Bennett. I think it helps Martellus Bennett that Cutler is in there because Cutler seems to look to Bennett more than McCown does.
Where are you ranking Cutler this week in your rankings? Roughly in what range?
He'll be in like the 12 to 14 range.
Okay, and where would McCown have been?
McCown would have probably been, inside the top 10.
Yeah, 300 yards, 3 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
So, okay. Let's move on, Joe. I hope that helps you out. Next celebrity question from Billy Joel guitarist Tommy Burns. Now, Tommy grew up in my neck of the woods out on Long Island, and when Tommy was small, I didn't know him personally, but a lot of my friends did, and when everybody else was out playing, Tommy was inside practicing his guitar, and everybody used to make fun of him that he wouldn't come out and play. But joke's on us, I guess. Worked out pretty well for him.
Billy Joel Band is Long Island. They pull the cops pull you over on Long Island. They go, license, registration, and let's see your iPod to make sure Billy Joel's in it.
Yeah. So, well, Tommy, you got the last laugh. Good for you. So, all right. So, Tommy's got a question. He wants to know, do you think Tony Gonzalez finishes with a flourish? They're out of it. Do you think they make a concerted effort to get him the ball the last 3 games? He plays the Redskins, the 49ers, and the Panthers to finish up his NFL career.
I think he definitely has a good week against Washington. I think those final 2 matchups are kind of tough. I would say use him this week if you're playing fantasy football, but the next 2 weeks are going to be kind of tough. The Niners and the Panthers are going to be playing with a lot on the line, and they're going to pay a lot of defensive attention to Gonzalez. I think he's good this week, much less the next 2 weeks.
Okay, yeah, Gonzalez really got a bum rap at the end of his career. He probably should have went out last year if he knew this was going to happen. But,
sometimes guys don't want to walk away from the game. It's understandable.
Well, thankfully he didn't get hurt.
Yeah.
So it's badly anyway. When we come back, we're going to bring in Steve Silverman, NFL insider, Roto Experts NFL insider Steve Silverman, and we're going to talk about the quarterback changes this week. All right, and we're back with Steve Silverman, our Roto Experts fantasy reporter. Steven, how are you?
Real good, guys. How are you doing?
Happy holidays.
Same here, my friend.
Listen, let's talk about some quarterbacks making news here. What's going on in Mark Trestman's head? Did he make the right decision here?
Well, this is really a complicated situation. The Bears and Mark Trestman are trying to act like it's a straightforward decision where he thinks that Jay Cutler is simply the best quarterback that the Bears have. Even though it's just been obvious how good Josh McCown has been since he's been playing for Cutler. Cutler's been injured. He's had a groin problem. He's had a sprained ankle. He's coming off a string of 3 straight games with 300-plus yards, something that no other Chicago Bears quarterback has done in the history of the team. In the long history of the Chicago Bears, no quarterback had ever done that. But Trestman is just married to Jay Cutler. And you just wonder, though, if the contract situation has anything to do with it, because Cutler's contract is up at the end of this year. Are the Bears sure they want to stick with him for next year? Do they want to see him in these last few games before they finally decide? I'm just not so sure that Trestman's decision is based on who will help the Bears win this game in Week 15 when the Bears really need it. See, one thing, it was Week 6. The Week 15, I don't think you should be playing games with your quarterback.
I actually looked it up. I thought for sure there was somebody. I went all the way back to Sid Luckman, and nobody. You're right. Nobody's actually done that 3 weeks in a row. But it's not like McCown can really audition for a starting job or career. He's in his mid-30s, isn't he?
Right. I'm not talking about anything long term. I really do like Jay Cutler, when it comes to overall talent, when it comes to the arm strength and the velocity that he can put on the ball. Yes, he can make those 30-yard out throws that I don't think Josh McCown or too many other quarterbacks can make. But let's go back to that Monday night game against the Cowboys. The play at the end of the half, the 25-yard touchdown pass in the corner of the end zone to Alshon Jeffrey. I'm not so sure that Jay Cutler can make that throw, especially right now when he's coming back from an injury. And here's the other thing. When Cutler came back from his groin injury earlier this year, Mark Trestman was the guy who was telling us that Cutler was 100%. He was ready to go. And by halftime of that game, he was reaching for his groin, and then shortly after that, then he hurt his ankle. What makes anyone think that the Bears are accurate in their assessment that Cutler is healthy now? They didn't tell us the truth before. I don't know that they're telling us the truth now.
We're talking to Steve Silverman, Roto Experts NFL fantasy insider reporter. He's well connected around the league. Steve, how do you think this move back to Cutler affects him as a fantasy starter? Is he ready? Do we roll him out there confidently? And, how does it affect maybe Alshon Jeffrey, who's had a breakthrough campaign, and anybody else fantasy-wise on the Bears offense for Week 15?
Well, I think certainly you're going to play the guys on the Bears that you normally had. If you have Brandon Marshall on your roster, you're going to play him. The same thing goes for Alshon Jeffrey. And of course, Matt Forte. You're not going to take any of these guys out of the lineup, but I'm not optimistic that they are going to be as productive as they were under a red-hot McCown. And it's not so much the hot hand, it's the cold hand coming in that I'm worried about. And, certainly I guess, he's capable if he gets the protection from the offensive line and hits a couple of throws early of putting big numbers on the board. But I think what the Browns are going to do is they're going to challenge Cutler to show them that he is on top of his game and good enough. I think they're going to be all over Matt Forte in the beginning of the game, and they're going to try to take away the Bears' running game and take away Forte. And I think he might suffer a little bit in this game if Cutler is not up to speed. And, you just wonder what's going to happen as the game progresses. If, Cleveland played a really good game minus the last 2 minutes against New England last week. If this is their last home game, if they come out with a great game here, would the Bears then go back to McCown, let's say by halftime or something, if they're trailing by 10 points or more? So, I'm going to play all my Chicago Bears, but I'm a little bit leery about it. I'm not feeling great about it in this game.
All right, Steve, let's move on to the Washington Redskins. Do you think the RG3 benching is a power play by Shanahan?
Yeah, I think that's all that it is. I think he wants out of there. He wants to get fired, but he wants to get fired and get his full pay. He doesn't want to get fired for anything other than a football decision. And Daniel Snyder loves RG3. I mean, the stories that have been coming out this week had been circulating behind the scenes for much of the last year that Snyder treated RG3 in such a manner that, it was clear that he thought he was above the other players on the team, and that made life really difficult for Mike Shanahan to handle. Well, now he knows that Shanahan knows that he's taken a lot of blame this year, and he's not going to be successful in Washington. He's not done coaching. He doesn't want to be done coaching. He wants a chance to coach elsewhere. But the rumors circulating were that Snyder wanted to fire him and not pay him at the end and pull an Al Davis kind of move and fire him for cause and that kind of thing. So Shanahan's just setting this up so he can be separated from the team and get his full money and ensure that he gets his full money. It's a hard thing for any NFL team to pull off. The league doesn't like it when an owner does that to a coach, and Shanahan's just taking the steps he thinks will ensure that he gets paid.
We're talking with Steve Silverman, Roto Experts NFL Insider here. So Steve, do you think there's any merit, though, that he deserves to be benched, and perhaps some of the other personnel on the offensive side of the ball, at least from a fantasy perspective, might be able to perform better with Cousins?
Well, RG3 has not had anything close to the year that he had as a rookie last year, and I think the problem was more on the opposite end of the season. At the beginning of the year, he wasn't ready to go. He was not ready to start the season, especially after not playing in the preseason games, and I think that's where Shanahan's problem was. I don't know why he had him in the starting lineup to begin with when he wasn't ready. He wasn't fully recovered. He's never been at his best, other than maybe a few brief shining moments during the season, but he's not been consistent. I think Kirk Cousins in there could actually do a good job in the last 3 games. Not that it matters for the Redskins. Certainly it matters for fantasy players, but it doesn't matter for the Redskins anymore. And I really think that, if Cousins is playing well, it's really going to make things a lot better for Alfred Morris, especially because Cousins is an ball well. I think teams will have to concentrate on that. And I think Morris, who's obviously a very good runner the last 2 years anyway, I think he'll be even better because of it.
All right, thank you, Steve. Best wishes to you and your family for a happy holiday season. That's Steve Silverman, everyone. And when we come back, we're going to try the 2-minute drill again. Didn't work out so well last week. Scott forgot to use his timeouts and
play his little game.
I'm going to give you a challenge flag this week.
Oh, little boy.
We'll be right back. And we're back. I'm Mike Cardano along with my sidekick, Scott Engel. And this is the portion of the program where Scotty's going to do the 2-minute drill. We're going to try this again, Scotty. You went 8 minutes last week. So I'm going to give you another timeout to work with. Okay, right. If you recall, you can call timeout if you're going too long. All right, or you can spike the ball. Okay? Or instead of throwing a challenge flag, we don't have any flags here. We have a Roto Experts X. You can throw the challenge X. So you've got 3 timeouts.
Why would I throw the X?
You're going to challenge the play. This is
obvious.
You're going to challenge the play.
This is obvious. It'll stop the clock.
Don't mess up my game. That's all I got. I got an X. That's all we got.
This does what? Why am I going to challenge?
You ran out of timeouts. You got no ball to throw. You got no ball to spike. You're out of timeouts. So and if you need more time,
this could be a timeout.
Then. In effect, it's a timeout.
Okay.
You often say that I'm thwarting you and I'm making you run long, so you're going to challenge it. It's not really the case. I'm asking relevant questions.
Not very good at playing the games, but I'll try it.
I've got a group of don't just play along here. I've got a group of questions here asked by the common folk. They've tweeted in, so I'm going to run through them as quick as possible.
Okay.
And we're going to see how you do.
All right.
Now, make sure you give a thorough explanation, but be brief. We're going to move it along.
Obviously.
Okay. You ready?
Yeah.
All right. We set the clock here.
You ask me a million follow-up questions.
Well, just answer them quickly. Yeah, and if you answered it completely to begin with, I wouldn't have to keep following up, right?
It's supposed to be a 2-minute drill.
Okay.
How can I answer everything in depth?
Let's go. Answer quickly. You ready? Just stay focused now. Okay?
Yeah.
All right. You going to call the signals?
Yeah. Red 27 laser! Red 27 laser! Hot! Hot!
Okay, here we go. Ready? All right. True or false? The Indianapolis defense is a good play without Gary Kubiak calling the plays.
No, the Colts are never really a good fantasy defense regardless of opponent. That's just looking at the opponent, and it's not looking at the quality of the defense itself. I wouldn't use the Colts in a Week 15 fantasy playoff matchup.
Okay, move on. That was very good by you. Nice and efficient. All right. True or false? The skill players on the Washington Indian team have a better chance of putting up fantasy numbers with Kirk Cousins as the quarterback.
I think they will put up better fantasy numbers this week, but not because Kirk Cousins is necessarily a better quarterback. I think the Washington Redskins have had so much nonsense surrounding them. They're going to come out and play a very strong football game to try to silence everything. I just think Washington plays better overall this week, and you get good skill position production from their fantasy players.
Where do you have Kirk Cousins ranked in your quarterback rankings, or did they substitute him too late? Did you not?
No. I'm going to have Cousins like in the early 20s. Not somebody I really use.
And is he ahead of or behind where RG3 would have been if he was the starter?
He was behind. Let's move
behind.
on.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Yeah. I'm moving on.
Let's move
That's
on.
the question. Andre,
Stop
the clock.
Yeah, because you asked too many damn follow-up questions.
All right.
Yeah.
So you got 2 timeouts left.
Yeah.
All right.
But I can still spike the ball, though.
You can still spike. Yeah. When you call timeout, you do this. Because technically,
I know how to call timeout.
You just spiked for the timeout.
I spiked to stop the clock. It's
all right, so then you got no more ball. You got timeouts left.
I can spike the ball anytime I want to stop the clock. No, you can't spike the ball.
You had 1 spike. That was the rule. You had 5 to use. You got a challenge X left and 3 timeouts.
You could when
the clock is stopped.
In the NFL, you can spike the ball whenever you want.
It's my game. It's my rule. Let's go. Can't spike it on 4 downs.
This is a stupid jet game.
Turn over. You turn the ball over. All right, you ready?
Yeah.
So we went through Kirk Cousins. We've establised that he's going to be a better fantasy player.
Long-winded. Let's go on.
Well, the clock was stopped.
Come on.
All right, you ready?
I'm in the zone. Let's go.
All right. You going to call the audibles again, or no? I'll just start the clock.
No, I'll call the audibles again.
Okay.
Kill, Omaha, hot.
You used valuable time doing that. I'm just saying. Andre Caldwell is now a relevant fantasy player.
No, fluke. Let's move on.
Fluke?
Yes.
Hold on. I'm going to call a timeout here. How is he a fluke?
It could be anybody.
But if Welker's going to be out for an extended period of time, you can't trust
Andre Caldwell based off of 1 game.
Oh, okay, but I can't call him a fluke. Guy's an NFL player.
Not somebody you want to use in the a fantasy fluke. I didn't say an NFL fluke.
Fantasy fluke. So if Welker's out next week, he's got no relevance.
I don't trust him.
Okay, I got screwed with Jacob Tammy. I didn't catch the news till after.
You deserve to be screwed.
Okay, all right. Okay. Well, I used the timeout. How about that? So actually, there were only 5
as I
timeouts.
go along.
So that means you have.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I used one of your timeouts. You don't get 2 timeouts left.
You can't use my timeout.
It's my game. It's what happened.
This
and
is
you still got
stupid.
your challenge. Actually.
This is stupid.
All right, here we go. You ready? And start the clock. Keenan Allen has reached the stage of being matchup proof, Scotty. True or false?
Reached that stage about 5 weeks ago.
Okay, so he's matchup proof.
Yeah.
Ryan Tannehill is a better start this week than Andy Dalton. Tannehill's playing New England. Dalton's playing Pittsburgh.
I can see it. You can't trust. You can't trust Dalton necessarily. I can certainly see it.
You can see that,
Yeah.
okay? All right. Dennis Pitta is a better start this week than Colby Fleener. Pitta's playing
Definitely,
Pittsburgh.
no question. Absolutely, keep going.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Bobby Rainey is a good start this week against the 49ers.
No, not against that run defense. No.
All right.
Not
You know, you let time expire again. It went over, and you didn't use any timeouts or anything.
You didn't structure this game very well. You took one of my timeouts.
I'm just saying, yeah, but
you don't
didn't have to
even
let it
you
go.
make up the rules as you go along. What kind of game
You
is
didn't
this?
even attempt
I took
to
one of
use
your
that.
timeouts. You can't take one of my timeouts.
You didn't even
It's my
attempt.
game.
All right, we're going to go through the rest of the questions
Yeah.
just for amusement, but you messed it up again. We'll have to try it again
This
next
is a
week.
dumb, unstructured game.
Pay attention
It's a
next
jet game.
Bobby Rainey. Oh, we did Bobby Rainey. If Aaron
know what we're
Rodgers
doing.
plays, he's a must start. True or
He's not.
false?
He's probably not playing.
It's not the question.
He's
You have to
probably
answer the
not
question.
playing. I'm not answering it.
If we were still playing the game, I'd have to take 10 seconds off the clock because
He's probably not playing. I'm
that's
not gonna.
that's a flag on you.
I'm not going to envision
It's
a
penalty.
scenario that's not going to happen.
Okay. Chris Obanaya, or Oingo Boingo, as Chacho says, he's a good start this week because he plays against the putrid Bears defense.
Yeah, that's good. Use him as a flex and like him on a site like DraftKings where he's only about $3,000.
Huh. How about that? Have you
Yeah.
played him at all yourself this week? This year?
Obanaya, no. Had
Not
him
in
on my
daily,
roster
or-
briefly, but I haven't
Oh, you
used
did?
him at
Okay.
all. No.
Okay. All right.
He does have fumbling issues. He's got to hold on to the ball.
Yeah, it's kind of
Yeah.
one of the requirements for running.
Otherwise, we're going to see Fozzie Wazzie Whitaker,
Okay.
as Pat Mayo likes to call him.
The last question that was supposed to be for the game where you
You
went
messed
over.
it up. You took one of my
Derrick
timeouts.
Rogers will be relevant in fantasy football playoff rounds.
I think so. He's got some upside.
He's very good. But what fill me in here. What was his off the field problems? Everybody said he's a great talent, but he had off the field problems.
He had some off the field issues. I'm kind of cloudy on my memory of what they were, but that's really what affected his outlook.
Yeah.
But he's starting to move past it.
He had a wonderful week last week.
Yeah,
6 catches,
he did.
100 and something yards. And,
Yep.
Okay. All right, when we come back, we're going to go through all the games. We won't have a time limit on it, so Scott won't go over. But it'll be thorough, and he'll tell
Doesn't
you
know
who
how
to
to
play and who
structure a
not.
game, and he's blaming me.
We'll be back. And we're back. I lost my quill when you went to the bathroom. Just lost it. Couldn't find it. I just found it. All right. Well, let's move on to
Sounds
the.
like a personal issue.
I'm just saying. Let's move on to the games, and let's tell these people who to start and who to sit.
Yep.
Okay. We'll go game by game. First of all, what did you think about the game last night?
Disappointing for a lot of people, obviously, from fantasy perspective. I think they expect a little bit more points, especially on the Denver side. But anything can happen in a divisional game. You know, you give the Chargers a lot of credit for coming in ready to play. They played a great umbrella defense where they sagged back and didn't let them get yards after the catch. They were batting down passes. You know, divisional games, you can never can't tell when anything's going to happen.
But you're not feeling Caldwell from here on out.
Not really, wouldn't surprise me if he scored another touchdown or two this season, but I don't think he's going to be dependable.
You think they bring Welker back before the playoffs, even if he is feeling better?
I can't speculate about that.
He could.
Well, if they need him, they haven't clinched anything yet.
Yeah.
They're not going to shut him down.
All right. All right, well, let's move on. We've got the Washington Indians traveling to
Do
Atlanta.
that. Our listeners don't like that.
There's one list.
Call them by
I
them.
haven't heard from him lately. Who play to play the Falcons, and Kirk Cousins is going to be in at quarterback, right? You know what? I actually think I view this more as a benching. He wasn't playing well. I know it was a power play and all things. He should be benched. He wasn't playing well. He was doing crap. No?
Yeah, I can see that. What I think though is a lot of people leaving the Redskins for dead, and when you do that to a team, they rally around each other and they come out and they play well.
Oh, they
I think
packed
they
it
will.
in weeks ago.
No, it's you could say that, but at some point, the team will decide, okay, this is enough. We have to play better. The team is going to rally around all the nonsense and play pretty well. I think Pierre Garçon has a good game. I think Alfred Morris has a tremendous game. And, I think Kirk Cousins is a nice salary cap play.
Oh, Reed is out. That doesn't help him.
No,
but
he's probably done for the year.
But you know what? When RG3 came out and threw Shanahan under the bus saying the other team knew what was coming, nobody came to Shanahan's rescue and said, "Oh, he was probably right."
RG3's a darling, and on the other side of the ball, you got to like Matt Ryan against his pass defense. Love Steven Jackson; he's been playing better lately.
Yes.
Roddy White is healthy again; he's a must start again, especially against that Washington pass defense. They will play well, but the talent's still not there on defense. You got to like Harry Douglas. You got to like Tony Gonzalez. I wouldn't blame people in a daily league if they ran an Atlanta Falcons stack.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's aggressive, all one team. But, I can see too.
Yeah.
I can see too.
Cha-Cha, if you run an Atlanta Falcons stack, make sure you send an email to Michael Cardano or hit him up on Twitter with the video. Yes.
Yeah, okay. All right. Bears at the Browns, and the Bears have a new old quarterback.
Yes. Jay Cutler's back in there. Cutler's missed a lot of time this season, but he's got great weapons. I don't think he's an outstanding start this week. I kind of like him, but the doctors have cleared him to play, so he might show a little bit of rust. It's possible. I don't think he's an outstanding start. Forte is going to get a lot of defensive attention, like you heard from Steve Silverman, but you don't bench him. You don't bench Jeffrey. You don't bench Marshall. I think it helps Martellus Bennett. On the other side of the ball, as another Cha-Cha mentioned, as he calls him here, Chris Oingo Boingo gets the chance to start against
Everybody
a defense.
runs on the Bears.
Yeah, the Bears allowed the third most fantasy points overall opposing running backs, and Oingo Boingo, Benaya actually is a nice flex start. Of course, you don't bench Josh Gordon, and Jordan Cameron started bouncing back last week. I think he's a pretty good play, and I think Jason Campbell's an okay play. I would use Jason Campbell over Kirk Cousins.
This is the first week all year that I haven't got a tweet asking me if Gordon should be benched this week.
I think people are finally convinced.
But you know what? The week's not over yet. I'm still somewhat.
10 weeks?
One might straggle in.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on. The Cardinals travel to Tennessee to take on the feisty Titans.
This might be a feisty game. That's a good word. Both these teams can play defense. Okay, Carson Palmer, not an outstanding start this week. You don't bench Fitzgerald. Michael Floyd is banged up. I think really the only Cardinal that you play this week is Larry Fitzgerald. On the other side, I think it's going to be a tough week for Chris Johnson. Going to have to work very hard for his yardage. Not a great week for Ryan Fitzpatrick. This could be one of the lowest scoring games of the week.
Okay. So you don't like Delaney Walker then either?
Delaney Walker is a start I like. Good thing you mentioned him because the Cardinals let up the most
2 points for me in the same game
allowed to opposing tight ends. Delaney Walker has been cleared from the concussion. You can go ahead and use him with confidence. I like Justin Hunter. He's another rookie a lot of people not talked about. I've talked a lot about Cordarrelle Patterson. He busted out last week. Justin Hunter is really coming on too, but I kind of don't like him in this matchup.
Okay, fair enough. Houston Texans with somebody other than Kubiak calling the plays against the Indianapolis Colts in Indy.
Yeah, I think you'll see a lot of Ben Tate. I think that Indianapolis run defense is vulnerable. I think Andre Johnson is a terrific start. DeAndre Hopkins, I liked him a lot in the preseason. Maybe I'm a year early on it. Sometimes that happens. I'm a year early on a guy. It happened with Jordy Nelson a few years ago. Maybe next year is the year for DeAndre Hopkins. Garrett Graham has a hamstring problem. We don't know about him. On the Colts side of the ball, Andrew Luck really silenced the detractors last week. He's a solid start. He can always give you at least decent fantasy numbers. Donald Brown has some upside in this matchup. The wide receiver core, though, they're kind of banged up, except for Rodgers. So I think you got to be careful there. Although they are going to be looking to get the ball more to T.Y. Hilton this week. You always take a chance when you start T.Y. Hilton, but he's got upside this week.
Luck put up great fantasy numbers last week, but it was all in garbage time. So does he need garbage time to put up great fantasy numbers?
Not necessarily. No.
I mean, coincidence last week. Okay. All right. I'm just looking here. None of that earth-shattering snow like we had last week.
No, and you know what? How earth-shattering was it when they set an NFL record for touchdowns?
No. It was just nice to watch.
The only really snow effect was in the first half of the Philadelphia game.
That was pretty manic.
Yeah, that was fun to watch.
Chance of snow, it looks like here in Cleveland. Other than that, nothing.
Yeah. And here's the thing with snow. Like, some people have the assumption bad weather bad numbers. We saw
The
that.
wind is the thing. It's wind.
Wind is the thing. Snow. The offense gets the advantage because the defensive line has trouble getting their footing. The receivers know where they're going with their routes, but the defense has to react. A perfect example was Sean McCoy was breaking ankles last week because he's a great cutback runner that makes people miss. And when the defense has to react in the snow like that, they're at a major disadvantage.
Although if Brown saw the sidelines in the Pittsburgh game, he might not have stepped out of bounds.
Yeah.
That was a hell of a play if it worked, all right?
Yeah, but it would have been. Usually the Steelers get those kind of calls, but they didn't this time.
All right, that was a dig. If you guys didn't get it at the, you're still complaining about the Seattle Seahawks Super Bowl, right?
Yeah.
So
when they win this year, though, I'll stop complaining.
A lot of pressure on you.
No pressure on me.
Odds-on favorite.
I'm enjoying my season.
Weight of the world must be on your shoulders.
Nope. 11-2. I'm enjoying it. Weight of the world must be on your
Everybody's
shoulders.
shooting at him.
I got a crappy franchise.
I got nowhere to go but up.
Yeah.
I'm in hell already. I can only go one way.
Yeah.
All right.
You have to look way up and try to pick at other people.
New Orleans at the Rams. To me, this is a home game away from home. They're going to go into another dome and rack up a bazillion points. You disagree?
It's not a home game, though. People are not going to be roaring
they don't need
in the
people
crowd
in the stands.
with a home
They
field
just need
advantage.
a fast turf and no wind.
No, when you have a loud home crowd like that, it gives you an advantage because it affects the communication of the other team. And really, football is a game of emotion. I believe it boosts the home team. So it's not like a home game. But the Saints,
You mean like Seattle? They have that home field advantage where they stink on the road, but they
stink on the road. They're 5-2 on the road.
Yeah,
How does that stink?
Plus the 2 gifts that they got.
They didn't get any gifts.
Or else they would have 3 wins. But
They didn't get any gifts. What gifts are you talking
Come
about?
on, stay with the topic.
You're the one that veered off the
Stay on
topic.
topic.
5-2, yet they're not a good road team.
Stay on topic. Come
What
on.
a moron.
New Orleans, St. Louis.
But New Orleans, St. Louis. Obviously, Drew Brees proved even though the Seattle game, you never bench him. A lot of people will ask about benching him last week. I like Pierre Thomas against a very vulnerable run defense as a flex. This could be a good game for Marcus Colston. To Tavon Austin has the ankle injury. Zach Stacy, decent start this week, I think. But
How's his mom feeling?
that's such a stupid, overdone joke. Can you please stop with that? Okay.
So everything you're telling me is New Orleans is going to kill him. It's going to be an offensive explosion.
New Orleans is going to stack their front against Zach Stacy, Derek Kellen Clemens to throw, and the results are not going to be too good. I really can't see the Rams hanging in this, but the Rams have surprised before, so I'm not going to assume anything.
You're not looking for a blowout, though.
New Orleans is going to score their points. I would not be shocked to see the Rams stay in the game, though.
So you're good with Stacy, or not so much this week?
I think he's going to have to work very hard for his yardage. It could be like a 20-carry, 75-yard type of game.
That's not all.
No end zone.
No end zone? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, let's move on. The New England Patriots play the Fish in Miami.
Don't do that. They're the Dolphins.
They are. I don't like the new logo.
Our listeners
you like the new logo?
I never liked the old logo.
Comparatively, which one do you
I
like
don't
better?
know. They're Dolphins.
Seattle changed their whole uniforms and stuff like that after they couldn't hack it in the AFC and they had to move to the NFC.
Like the Jets have really hacked it anywhere in any
the
conference,
Jets should try
right?
to, if they could maybe move to another conference like the
You moved to the
USFL.
Arena League and they still
That's
suck.
right.
Yeah.
All right.
But you got to realize the rule. If your team sucks, you can't criticize anybody else.
They're still in the playoff race here. Highly contested AFC.
Mathematically alive, yeah.
AFC least.
Yeah, Geno Smith going to carry the Jets to the playoffs. All right.
Patriots at Dolphins.
Yes. This is a divisional game.
Yeah.
So you can't assume anything. I think it's going to be hard fought. I don't think Brady has an outstanding game. I think Amendola disappoints again. I think Edelman gets his catches. Shane Vereen gets his work. Miami's going to play. Miami's still in the race. They're going to fight the Dolphins hard at home. They often do. I think Tannehill's a decent start. I think Hartline's a good start again. Running back wise, you never know what's going to happen. Charles Clay has become a very, very solid starter.
He's my boy now,
Yeah.
Clay. Although I don't like the Dolphins, he's my boy.
The Patriots do give up a healthy amount of points to opposing tight ends.
Yeah, to me, the Patriots certainly know how to win games, but you can move the ball on them, and your
Offensively, they're
people.
not. Could be a really good day for Mike Wallace.
Wallace, pulls the socks up high, runs deep pattern, touchdown. That's what you're expecting.
What's the next game?
My Jets.
Yes.
Who are the Jets playing? Jets are playing the Carolina Panthers
This
in
could be
Carolina.
maybe the mismatch of the season.
It might.
Yeah. Carolina defense, number one ranked in my lineup ranks this week.
Although Carolina won't be running the ball against the Jets.
I think Cam Newton's actually going to slice them up.
He may run the ball.
And passing.
The running backs aren't going to run the ball.
I think Brandon LaFell, or Ted Ginn might get in the end zone here if you're playing daily.
Ted Ginn's going to get in the end zone?
Yeah.
On a punt return?
No, on a pass.
Really?
Every once in a while, Cam Newton will throw the bomb to Ted Ginn. It could
He
burn
can
the
run.
Jets. I think Greg Olson's a good start. I am avoiding every single Jet this week.
Ed Reed's got a win this year. He got a win now for the first time.
Oh, wow. Great public relations stat.
Just you got to win.
Yeah.
Take anything we can get.
I told you the Jets were going to stomp the
You
Raiders,
did.
by the way.
That one right out. Good job. I was happy all going into the game. I thought they were going to win. But I'm not so happy anymore this week.
No. You often won't be happy as a Jet fan.
So nobody on the Jets side. I told you Curly. You don't like Curly in a deeper league?
Not against Carolina.
No? Okay.
Carolina's going to be very angry after getting blown out by New Orleans. They're going to take out. The Jets are going to get slammed pretty good.
But the running back, Carolina running backs, they're not good plays.
No.
Okay.
Although Mike Tolbert might get in the end zone.
Mike Tolbert might get in the end zone. Okay. All right, let's Philadelphia at Minnesota, and we don't know who the hell's going to be in the backfield for Minnesota. We don't even know if Gerhardt's going to be
All that matters here is that Minnesota's defense is awful, and Philadelphia is pretty much on a roll. Nick Foles must start. Riley Cooper, Deshaun Jackson, LaShawn McCoy, maybe even Zach Ertz gets in the end zone. On the other side, Matt Castle starts for the Vikings. They'll be able to move the ball. He really likes throwing to Greg Jennings. Cordarrelle Patterson had the breakout game I was looking for last week. Could have another excellent week against a team that gives up so many points to opposing wide receivers. Another good week for Patterson.
Thinking about a high-scoring game in this one?
I don't think the Vikings can keep up with the Patriots with Matt Castle at quarterback. This could end up being like a 30.
That's okay because they're playing the Eagles.
Or 34-20 type of game.
They're playing the Eagles, though, not the Patriots.
The Eagles, I meant.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't think they can keep up
with the Patriots. I make mistakes
either.
once in a while.
That's okay.
Like working with you.
But I'm right on it. I'm right there, right on top of it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Your Seattle Seahawks traveled to New York, where we are, to play the Giants at MetLife Stadium in New Jersey, and you're going to be at the game in the press box.
Yes.
How about that?
Covering the game.
You can do your Google Plus segment from the press box?
We're going to have a live chat with Jennifer Millen and Adam Ronis this week.
Oh, how about that?
Yes.
Huh. You going to see Warren
I've been
Moon?
tweeting from the press box.
You see Warren this weekend?
I might see Warren Moon this weekend, yes.
What'd you say the guy, his buddy's name was? The guy who does the play-by-play with him? What's his name?
Oh, there was a lady who does on Root Sports.
Yeah.
Angie Mentick.
Oh, Mentick.
Yeah.
Mentick, okay.
They do Seahawks All Access. I love it. I watch it every week. They mic everybody up on the sideline.
Okay. All right, so what do we have at that game? Do you like anybody? Cruz, Manning, anybody on the Giants side? Running back Brown.
Oh, Lord. Manning,
give me something.
Manning against the NFL's number one defense, and he has 20 interceptions. Of course, tied with Geno Smith
how
for
about
the most
this?
in the NFL.
Can somebody play Richard Sherman as an offensive play this week?
Maybe.
He might be good in the PPR league. Might have 4 or 5 catches.
Yeah, maybe he might catch 5 balls from Eli Manning. That's good. The only Giant I would consider is Andre Brown. Maybe he gets in the end zone. Like if it's a 31-14 game, he punches one in. Russell Wilson, I think him and his receivers who just do such a nice job of getting yards after the catch. And Golden Tate plays really well on the road. I think very solid game for Wilson. You like the Seattle receivers. Marshawn Lynch gets in the end zone at least once. I think the Giants will put up a fight for about a quarter or two, but Seattle's just a much better team.
Yeah, no match. They're odds-on favorite in the Super Bowl, I'm telling you. You'll be right there.
I love hearing
that. If they don't win, it's going to be tough.
I love hearing that.
You're going to be miserable, I'm telling you.
Not going to be miserable. It's been a very enjoyable season. How is your season being? It's not hard being number one.
You know what?
How does it feel being number 29?
Actually, I've had a season that's much better than I expected. I thought they would be a lot worse.
Again, low standards.
Yeah, set your standards low and you're good.
Yeah.
All right, we're moving on to Jacksonville, where the Buffalo Bills are coming into town with their wagon. What do you think? Jacksonville's been on quite a bit of a roll.
Right now, okay?
What?
The wagon stuff is way overplayed and it's unoriginal. You can do better than that. Even you can.
It's too late. I already said it.
Yeah. We don't need the Berman shtick. It's way overplayed.
I didn't do it in Berman.
It's not even yours.
You said they were coming into town.
The wagon thing is Berman-esque. Okay? Get your own sayings.
You're just mad because you wanted to say it.
No, I never say it.
All right, well, critique
I'm
the
original,
game here, Paul.
Okay? You could try to be original. Jordan Todman's very going to likely start for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Nice start against a vulnerable run defense. We won't know about Cecil Short. Jacksonville's defense has played better, so I don't expect an outstanding game from C.J. Spiller and Fred Jackson, but I think Stevie Johnson, who has made a pronouncement and really want the ball and faces a weak secondary, I think Stevie Johnson's a good play.
I don't think E.J. Manuel can get him the ball. How about that?
Even a bad quarterback, which E.J. Manuel's not necessarily bad, he's just young and he's got to progress. Even a bad quarterback who completes, say, 16 passes, 8 of those could go to Stevie Johnson.
It's true.
Even a bad quarterback has to complete passes to somebody. Just because the quarterback is
My
bad.
quarterback doesn't.
What?
My quarterback
He
doesn't
completes it
complete
to the other
anybody.
team, yeah.
All right, San Francisco, who just whipped your team's butt against
2
the
points is a whooping?
Buccaneer.
2 points is a whooping?
A whole 2 points.
Yeah, a whole 2 points, yeah. You wouldn't know about winning football, so
You
just go on.
you had a miserable week because they lost.
I didn't have a miserable week. They're 11-2. I'm not
You had no
miserable.
idea. They're
11-2.
I had the tweet ready to go, the patronizing tweet ready to go. There was like 2 minutes left to go in the game, and I'm ready to send it. And my son's telling me, no, you can't send it. You got to wait till it's over. I was ready to tweet you that they were going to lose, but then I got nervous.
That's your life, though, because you don't know.
I got nervous. I thought something miraculous was going to happen. They were going to win.
You don't root for winning teams, so you just root for other people to lose.
It helps. It's helpful.
It's not.
Yeah, misery likes company. It's helpful. Makes me happy.
You have a very sorry outlook when it comes to sports.
Didn't you notice I had very happy going into the weekend? And I've been happy all week.
You're always happy, though.
My team won. Your team
when
lost.
You're not very bright. You walk around.
My
being
team
happy,
won. Your team lost. What could be better?
There's not a lot going in there. You just walk around like.
I don't think that's going to happen again this week. I don't think Jets will win. All right, San Francisco at Tampa Bay. How are we handicapping that? You think Michael Crabtree is going to do anything this week?
You might see a lot of Darrell Revis. I think this could
Darrell. We do this every week. It's Darrell.
We could see another low scoring game this week. Tampa Bay does give a lot to opposing quarterbacks, but I think Tampa Bay is going to be sturdy in this game. I don't like a lot of plays on either side. I do like Frank Gore though. He's running very hard right now. Vincent Jackson might have a tough game, but it's hard to bench him. There's not a lot of plays that I like on either side this week, but you can't bench Gore. Bobby.
Davis.
What's that?
How do you not like Davis this week?
I think Vernon Davis is a must-play no matter who he faces.
So you were not talking about him.
I wasn't talking about Vernon Davis. You play Vernon Davis, you play Vincent Jackson. Bobby Rainey, not in my top 20 this week, though.
Gore, top 20?
Yes, Gore's always top 20 no matter who he faces.
I had Glennon in the giraffe, human giraffe.
The
in
Pez dispenser.
Pez dispenser in daily fantasy last week. And it was weird. He had 2 touchdowns, but he only had 90 yards passing.
I know.
That was odd.
Tony Romo was having those kind of games right now.
Strange. Okay, let's move on. The Kansas City Chiefs versus the Oakland Raiders in one of those 1971 divisional rough matchups.
Remember, it's divisional. You can't assume the Raiders are going to lay down here. So you like Rashad Jennings to a degree. Looks like Denarius Moore might be back.
It's at the black hole, Scary fans there.
They're not scary. The Raiders haven't been scary in about 3 decades.
They scare some of their own team.
They're more laughable than they are scary. Come on.
People jumping from the upper deck and stuff. It's rough place.
They're a lot scarier than the team, that's for sure. But I think you like Streeter to a degree this week. Jennings is okay. The Kansas City defense, I don't think will be dominant, but it'll be a very good play. I like Dwayne Bowe in this game. I think Alex Smith can throw 2 touchdown passes, and Jamal Charles is the best running back in fantasy football.
You don't like McGroin?
No.
But that was weird how they went back to Pryor in the middle of the game and then pulled him. That was odd, no?
Yeah. Well, they got behind.
But then they took him right out. They didn't. It's odd.
The coaching staff was upset. They were losing to an inferior team.
Yeah. I agree with that.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know about the Raiders. I don't know if they're inferior, but
no, the Raiders were losing to an inferior team.
Yeah. You think Jets even worse than the Raiders?
Yeah. It's just they got up for that game. Yeah.
All right. Green Bay at Dallas. So is Tony Romo going to play a full 60 minutes here in this one?
Why wouldn't he?
Sometimes he plays like 58 minutes and then gives it up.
No. That's all overrated. Did you see the game against the Giants a few weeks ago?
Yeah. I said
fourth
sometimes.
Quarter, nailed it down.
What did he do last week?
Tony wasn't his fault.
I'm asking you what he did last week. He's on the team. He's one of the 11 guys out there in offense.
But you can't blame him for losing the game.
The
defense was horrible.
The defense was horrible.
Yeah, anybody with a football mind can't blame Romo for last week.
You can blame everybody. Should take the blame.
No,
everyone.
No. Well, what is this generic locker
room speak? It's a team thing. You don't single out anybody.
You blame the defense. They were horrible.
No. It's this. You don't separate. It's a team thing.
Whatever.
It's a team thing. You got to stick together.
Going back to
you win and lose as a team.
We're not in the minor league locker room, okay? We're analyzing the game. You can't blame the offense.
If
the defense was horrible.
Throw the defense under the bus.
We can throw the defense under the bus. If you're not on the team, so you don't have to talk like that.
You just got to score more.
Just don't get it. I'm not going to explain it to him.
Is Aaron Rodgers going to play?
What? Doesn't look like it. Looks like Matt Flynn will play, start again, but not an outstanding start. Jordy Nelson will have an okay game. I'm not crazy about the other wide receivers. Eddie Lacy is iffy. If he can't go, I like James Starks a lot against the Cowboys. I think you still got to roll with Romo. Dez has been disappointing, but he's still been okay. I think it's an excellent week for DeMarco Murray again. Jason Witten, decent day. I think you know who you're starting to sit. Matt Flynn is a decent play if maybe you lost RG3 or McCown or something like that.
Been getting a lot of tweets. People have been asking me, should I play James Jones? Should I play James Jones? And I'm like, well, if Rodgers is going to play, yeah. If he's not, no.
Yeah. If Rodgers plays, you can even use Jared Boykin.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So that's Green Bay and Dallas. Got 2 more games left on the slate here. Sunday nights, Cincinnati at Pittsburgh. That's a knockdown, kick 'em out, drag out game.
I think not when you watch Gio Bernard, who's so much flash and pizzazz, but he does run well at the point of attack. I think it's a really good game for Gio. Of course, you don't bench AJ Green. I think Andy Dalton, will play decently. I think Ben Roethlisberger could have his struggles, but you don't bench Antonio Brown. Le'Veon Bell is very versatile, but he doesn't get in the end zone enough. Le'Veon Bell is an excellent flex play.
Okay. What about Jones? You like Jones this week?
Which one?
Number 12, Jones, Cincinnati.
Marvin Jones?
Yes.
Yeah, he's hurt. So
he's 12.
He's not 100. 12 is Sanu, I believe.
Oh, well, do you like him then?
What? No.
Oh.
No.
Okay.
I can't remember the uniform number right off the top of my head. It could
12.
be Jones, could be Sanu.
I thought it was 12.
Yeah.
Okay. Monday night, the Baltimore Ravens against the we don't know yet Reggie Bush Detroit Lions.
You got to like Joe Flacco again, Torrey Smith indoors. You got to love that as a play. Dennis Pitt, a strong tight end play. Now that he's back for Detroit, Matthew Stafford, I never bench him regardless of who he starts again. You can't trust Nate Burleson.
You did good benching him last week.
What's that?
You would have did good benching him last week.
Yeah, but that's unusual.
It was an anomaly.
You know what I'm saying? It was an anomaly.
It's a good word I used.
Yes.
Anomaly.
Good album, by the way, too, by Ace Frehley.
Okay.
But, if Reggie Bush plays, you use him. If not, I don't think Joy Bell's going to have an outstanding day. But I think Reggie Bush, if they get him the ball in space on that fast track, I don't think he can have a whole lot of upside, though, because, he's been getting banged up. So even if Reggie Bush plays, I don't know if there's a high ceiling.
So you don't like Bush. What do you like, Burleson?
No, too unreliable.
So it's just Megatron all by himself. Stafford's just going to throw it to him all day. I'm
not saying he's going to throw it to him all day, but you can't rely on Burleson. After he came back in one good game, he was quiet the next 2 weeks.
Right. Do you find it a legitimate strategy to play the Baltimore defense because they have Jacoby Jones returning kicks?
Yeah, you always got to count in the kick returner. Look at Dexter McCluster.
I don't know that anybody does that.
You know what? The Titans got Leon Washington now, and he nearly returned a kickoff for a touchdown last week, and that's a solid unit.
Yeah, I agree. All right, there you have it. Week 15. Good luck in your playoffs, everyone. For Brian McCray, Mitch Malloy, Joe Cribbs, Tommy Burns. I want to thank all of them for stopping by with their questions. And Mike Cardano, along with my sidekick, Scott Engel. We'll see you next week for Week 16 in your playoffs of fantasy football.
Now's the time to work and strain at a sport that tests the spirit and challenges the brain.
Come on, let's go. Yeah, I'd like to have 75 degrees and sunny all the time too, but that's not football.
Do you fear the force of the wind, the slash of the rain?
We're gonna play it through light and rain.
Go face them and fight them. Be savage again.